Hello gamers, this is Sai, and welcome back to Which Way Games. Now, I wonder what movie quote is a Doomslayer's favourite?
Room for my fist because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine! Ah!
And with that being said, let's get on with the video. When it comes to reboots, there have been quite a few over the years, especially within the worlds of films, cartoons and video games. Each of these did their best to improve or expand the worlds that they originated from, with some success, while others couldn't quite emulate the same magic as the original source material. However, one reboot that not only recaptured this magic, but also improved the core dynamic while keeping its roots was a particular game that starred an angry yet proficient killer marine wearing green body armour and wielding a shotgun. This would be Doom 2016, a fantastic game to play that introduced a whole new spin to the Doom franchise, so let's go back to where it all started. After the release of Doom 3, which is more of a survival horror based game compared to its 2D counterparts, work began on what was known as Doom 4. id Software were happy with where Doom 3 was taking the franchise and thought it best to continue within the survival horror genre, especially with games such as Dead Space rewriting the rulebook when it came to survival horror video games. Having a setting being more in line with a post-apocalyptic war zone, this was ultimately dropped, would eventually end up being used in the video game known as Rage. Eventually, after half a decade of development hell, earlier builds of Doom 4 weren't up to the high standards of id Software and Bethesda. So with this, Doom 4 was to be rebuilt from the ground up and step away from the horror-based survival theme of Doom 3. Looking back to the past, developers wanted to emulate the style of Doom 1 and 2 with a simple and yet effective gameplay, but yet create a whole new experience for gamers. Originally planned to be set on Earth, id Software, in keeping with the original lore, set Doom 2016 on Mars itself, so in a sense it wasn't a reboot but more of a reimagining. Doom 2016 was shaping up to be a masterpiece in the making, and come May 2016, with much anticipation from Doom fans, Doom 2016 was released into the gaming world. And like always, let's go back to the past to see how Doom 2016 was advertised. The story of Doom 2016 begins in the red planet known as Mars. The UAC are experimenting with gateways that are able to draw energy from other worlds and dimensions in order to solve an energy crisis back on Earth. Dr. Samuel Hayden has located such a dimension, however this dimension is known as Hell, and it has the highest source of energy, but being able to access Hell hasn't been easy, not until the invention of the Argent Tower, that allowed a gateway to be created to Hell. Using the Argent Tower, the Doctor organises several expeditions to the fiery dimension, bringing back captured demons and demonic artefacts for study. Among the artefacts is a sarcophagus that, according to the demonic scripture, inside is the being known as the Doomslayer. The demons had imprisoned the Doomslayer after his last rampage through Hell, and he has laid dormant ever since. However, unknown to Dr. Hayden, one of his researchers, Dr. Olivia Pierce, has become obsessed with Hell and eventually makes a pact with the demons, and thus creates a permanent gateway to Hell. Soon the UAC base on Mars begins to become overrun with demons, and Dr. Hayden feels the only one that can deal with the onslaught of evil is the Doomslayer. With the sarcophagus now open, the Doomslayer awakens but finds himself still bound in chains, with a horrific creature of the undead drawing closer. The Doomslayer breaks his chains, grabs the head of the undead, caves it into the table and puts on his Predator suit. Dr. Hayden contacts the Doomslayer and tells of the invasion from Hell and how only he can stop the demons. Clearly not interested in what Dr. Hayden has to say, the Doomslayer smashes the screen, grabs his weapon and ventures into the base of the UAC, but can't shake the strange sense of deja vu. Gameplay has gamers controlling the Doomslayer as he makes his way through the overrun base of the UAC and eventually into Hell itself. And in keeping with the original games, gamers will start off with just a pistol once they've taken down the first enemy with just their bare hands. From that moment, it's a kill or be killed situation, where gamers will have to find bigger weapons to tackle different types of enemies. But unlike other FPS games, where health would regenerate, gamers will have to find other ways to regain health as well as ammo. And the only way to do this was when an enemy was stunned, they would flash orange or blue. The Doomslayer would carry out violent acts of glory kills to obtain much needed ammo or health. Some of these glory kills even had gamers looking away from their screens. Damn! Movement was all about fast-paced action and momentum, and combining this with a combat system that really put an emphasis on speed. But one thing that was great to see was a small RPG element, where gamers could collect collectibles that could be used to upgrade weapons, the Predator suit, and more power-ups to make the Doomslayer the perfect killing machine. With a campaign featuring extreme violence, gamers are in for a treat, but are they brave enough to complete the game on Ultra Nightmare mode? However, at the time of release, multiplayer for Doom 2016 was slightly overlooked, but this was ultimately put right with various game patches. Now there are some possible links with previous Doom games, especially Doom 64. At the end of Doom 64, Doomguy stays in Hell to battle the demons, where time itself has no meaning. Past, present and future are all one and the same. But could Doomguy eventually be captured by the demons, now dubbing him the Doomslayer? Linking games together and creating theories is always fun and popular. I'll share another one in the next video. Coming back to the story, the Doomslayer has battled his way through the base of the UAC against the many demons of Hell, ripping them in half, smashing their faces in, and generally living up to his name. Throughout his journey, the Doomslayer learns of a demonic artifact known as the Crucible. Eventually, after a lot of violent attacks on the world of demons, the Doomslayer obtains a Crucible, and after some guidance from Dr. Hayden, portals from Hell to Earth are destroyed. However, the Doomslayer isn't finished yet. Venturing even deeper into the depths of Hell, he eventually catches up with Dr. Olivia Pierce. She realises that she was merely a pawn in the eyes of Hell, and now the Mad Doctor is struck by a large energy beam, transforming her into a new evil spider mastermind. And doing what he does best, the Doomslayer destroys the spider mastermind, and to add insult to injury, he rips her brain apart, ensuring permanent death. With Hell subdued for now, the Doomslayer is transported back to Mars, and finds himself captured by Dr. Hayden. Now with the Crucible in his possession, can Dr. Hayden resist the temptation of Hell? Knowing that the Doomslayer cannot be killed, the Doctor transports him to an unknown location. And will the Doomslayer return? When released, Doom 2016 was highly praised by gamers and critics, who praised the welcome return to the franchise with its high-octane action, its effective gameplay, and ultra-violence. The spirit of Doom had returned, and with this, gamers were overjoyed to be playing a game that didn't disappoint. Returning to the basic gameplay of the original, Doom 2016 was more about constant movement, bigger and tougher demons, and over-the-top weapons that will keep gamers happy, especially if they were fans of the Doom series. With gameplay taking place on Mars as well as Hell itself, Doom 2016 stood out from other games at the time, especially its heavy metal-inspired soundtrack. Overall, Doom 2016 is a gem of a game to play. The style of gameplay combined with awesome music will certainly leave gamers with a small sense of pleasure when ripping enemies in half. A great addition to any gamer's collection, and if gamers are new to the franchise, this is a perfect game to start with. Although the originals are still regarded as some of the most influential games made for the FPS genre. Despite the multiplayer not coming up to some standards of today's online gaming par, Doom 2016 still manages to come out on top with its single player campaign. And of course, with it being such a massive hit, there is a sequel on the way known as Doom Eternal, which will continue the story of the Doomslayer. Anyway, come back next time when the Doomslayer has returned and Hell has broken out on Earth. But can he save the planet from destruction, or is this the end of the human race? Thank you so much for watching, and see you next game.